if you're an actually decent human being and happen to be a Jew, they're not allowed to go to the self-proclaimed Jewish state, right? Because you're trying to protect Palestinians from the absurdly violent settlers that are on an extreme level of violence right now, that are just not just emboldened, they're provided the weaponry from the Israeli government and protected by the IOF to enact all of this violence on Palestinians just trying to live in their homes. And we're seeing it day after day, the most gruesome, disgusting. Like today I saw settlers going to a water truck and just opening up the water truck to let it leak all out and like empty the entire water truck just for shits and giggles because they don't want the town to have water. So like this is a type of demonic evil we're dealing with. And now they're barring Jewish people from going to occupy Palestine to protect Palestinians. So what they're basically trying to say is the only Jews that they will allow, or Jews, let's air quote it, that they will allow into Palestine, or whatever they're going to call it, are the absolutely demonic evil ones that will stand, to fight the Palestinians and terrorize them and burn their homes and kill their livestock and burn their olive trees. That is who they want there, and that's as brazen and open of an admission to their demonic evil out in public. So this is the type of stuff they're so emboldened, and I want to make this very clear. All of the impunity that we're seeing in our Western world, that everyone is so emboldened to do and say whatever the hell they want, all of these Epstein class pieces of shit in positions of power doing their pedophilia and getting away with it and saying whatever the hell they want to say and getting away with it, because that we've exposed that there's a level of impunity in this world that now has checked international law. There's no international law to me anymore. It's a myth to me. All of this is a myth. Yep. It was all created for the global South to control all of the already oppressed people. And we know this and we see it in broad daylight. The UN, the ICC, the ICJ mean jack shit to me. It is all lip service now. So that is what we are seeing now with our own eyes. And now it's becoming a revolution style situation. It is a revolution situation, which I'm glad I'm on the Revolution podcast. But
can we go back to what you're saying? So are you saying that my birthright has been revoked?
That's what. Yeah, literally, if you protect Palestinians,
my birthright has been
anymore. Exactly. Yeah, that's how ridiculous it sounds.
Well, actually, what's funny is the trip you went on was actually like birthright.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it wasn't necessarily a program, but that's what that is. It's interesting.
Yeah, the thing is, we don't even have the audacity to call anything like that a birthright because we know what we are, and that should be like trigger number one for the whole world. Like, who the hell has a very structured program and trip that pays you to go and have this fun on your birthright trip? Right. Who is a government that has a propaganda wing that is meant for specifically putting out fake news and propaganda and AI imagery and videos? Israel. All of this. Who pays $7,000 for influencers to post? Israel. Like, this is all. And who's literally currently they just put out a statement that they are influencing AI answers to be pro-Israel responses. Like, they're trying to infiltrate every single aspect of our lives so that they can literally force feed the narrative that they've already lost. They've lost the narrative. There's no turning back. It's just making them look worse and worse and worse. So we let them be them, let them do them. At this point, like, we should just we can't put the pedal, like, we can't hit the brakes anymore, and we can't like slow down. Let them be them, but we got to push forward harder and harder and harder than ever, because that's the only way the existence of global.
I want to say to both of you, when you see right now what's happening in Michigan, obviously a lot of the focus is on Saeed's election, but don't forget, you've got this state senator who's now the Democratic nominee in District 11, which is an area Jen and I are very familiar with, which is the Zionist haven of the state of Michigan, which is Farmington Hills and Bloomfield. So this guy, Jeremy Moss, has come out and basically said that we are Israel's bitch and we should just accept it. And then, in addition, we are also faced with the reality that AOC is going to run for president. She is not going to be pushed on this issue. Hassan Piker is going to give her cover, among other people. And we have to recognize that we're in a situation here where there really needs to be a substantial off-ramp from capitulating within this system. If there's not a direct break in which people start recognizing their own power, then there is never going to be a solution to this nightmare. That is the only way, and would love to hear your guys' thoughts about it.
Totally. I mean, this kind of touches on the video that I made with regard to Hamz Sayed and how there's a normalizing aspect that we need to now stay away from. We need to call that out very directly. It's across the board with any political candidate. And the reason why we use AOC and Bernie in a way as the template of what happens to these Democrats, essentially, that go into this liberal world of not fakeness. Honestly, it's all fake. It's all essentially maintaining the status quo that doesn't get us anywhere at this point. So we need to break free of that. And whenever I speak up about it, I even put it in my second video as a follow-up to the one that you guys showed today. I put one out today as a follow-up of the response I got, which was like, chill out, bro. Relax, man. Calm down, because they're doing this strategically to win the black vote. That's why Kamala Harris and this and that. Like, what are you saying to me right now? Like, that is such an absurdity that you are now cozying up. I even put it into perspective of like, hey, if you were a German citizen, right? Let's talk about this very directly. If you were a German citizen and you had a candidate that was going to, change the game for the German population, but that candidate needs an endorsement by this Nazi politician, right? Would you be okay currently in this day and age, if you were transported back to Nazi Germany, be okay, taking that strategic political route and letting that in, or accepting the endorsement from that Nazi politician? No, not at all. Like, it's absurd to me. You have a person that was actively involved in the genocide of Palestinians, and then on the flip side, you've got a candidate that is pro-Palestinian, anti-genocide, all the rhetoric he's been pushing, and now you're on a fucking flyer together with you saying you're proud to for this endorsement. No, like, do you understand? Like, just think about it in any logical sense. No, that exactly where that path is heading, where Kamala is going to be on the stage with him, raising his hand on a stage. Obama's probably going to be next endorsing him. Like, all of this shit is the same spiral, the same bullshit we are always accustomed to. With Obama's he's a war criminal too. So, like, this is what we have to call out very directly. Like, we cannot operate in the status quo anymore. It's done. We're now when you're in the revolutionary stage in the game and in end game mode, there's no more beating around the bush. You have to be as direct as humanly possible and elect the people that are the most direct as humanly possible. So once you lose that, you lose every single aspect of the movement, and then revolution just fizzles out and nothing happens again.
And this is also why, and H2 is a great follower and supporter of the channel and saying he's trying to win a Senate seat. You got to understand something about politics. With the hell that he had to go through to win that primary election, the general election should be easier, not more difficult. The only way that Mike Rogers is going to win the Senate race in November is that the Democratic establishment actively works behind the scenes to get him elected. And don't think for a second that shit does not go on. And the reason I bring this up is, what is the point of winning if this is what we're reduced to? We have to get it in our heads at some point that if the only option is BDS, worker co-ops, whatever it will take to break the economic and political cycle that has brought us to this brink within this country, that has been the world's hegemon for, 3 generations?
Mm-hmm.
There is no other choice.
Agree.
And some people are going to have to come to that reality sooner rather than later. And if you think it's bad now, like I said, you just wait until Alex announces her run for president and the hoopla that is going to say. Yeah, you can laugh, and yes, it's a vanity project, but so many people are going to get caught up in it. So many people that should be putting their energy where it could be so much more effective. They're going to get caught up in this shit, and it's a waste of time, especially right now.
Yes,
it is a waste of time.
But the consultant class needs to make a lot of money. And they won't be able to do that without candidates like that in the race. That's their whole point. And that is what people don't realize. It doesn't matter if she can win. Somebody's still going to make money off of that. But it's silly. She's going to look dumber and dumber every time she opens her mouth. It'll be like Kamala, but worse. And I agree 1,000%, Mo. We're at a point now where we're not negotiating anymore. I feel like this is the same thing with the Iranians with their six demands, whereas it didn't have to be that way. But now that's where we are. So that's where we are with Palestine. See, now it just has to cease to exist. We're not with the, just get out of Gaza now, right? Like, so now it's just, you need to just be completely annihilated. And as I say, lance like a boil off the face of humanity. So now that's where we're at. So there's no, like, we're done now.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, both of you guys, I mean, the Democrats are very capable, and they've done it in the past where they did, but not just the behind the scenes stuff to get Republicans elected over a Democrat they just don't want.
Oh, yeah.
But they do it in front of your face. And some people are even of the theory that this endorsement from Kamala is, in theory, a way to divide the movement, to make sow doubt in Abdul Sayed, and like what he and his acceptance of the endorsement was a strategic play to diminish what he stands for. Like, there's all of these theories that are like swirling in a way. But then there's
I actually don't agree, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I also don't agree as well, by the way. Just throwing it out there because people are of that mentality right now when I've heard it.
I think she is so narcissistic and is so desperate to garner any type of a pathway to become a viable candidate for president that she'll say anything and do anything. It doesn't matter.
Totally. It's literally, I mean, everything she's doing is for her. I know that. Yeah. And he just fed into it and made himself look horrible by doing that. Like, let her say whatever the hell she wanted to say. His acceptance was stupid to me. And he just needs to be able to message, of course, correct very quickly as a result. Once he starts to go on that path, he's going to lose like a massive amount of people. I'm going to be very frank about this. Our movement doesn't waver. People think this is a divisive thing that I said today, and the video you played. It's not. Our movement is very gung-ho on that mentality. It's the people that are not accustomed to what we know needs to happen. It's the vote blue no matter who, but I'm still pro-Palestinian people. Like, no, you're not. Then you don't know what we know. You don't see the pattern that we've seen. We have pattern recognition for a reason now as Palestinians, and people that are very deep in the pro-Palestinian movement know what's coming next and how our politics slide from here on out. So we need people that stand 10 toes down on saying the things that other politicians have never, ever said. Saying this is a genocide is baseline to me. Saying that, we need a ceasefire is baseline to me. This is all bullshit talk for me. I want you to stand on your ground on the things that the Western pundits and the Western narratives always push us on, which are the same two questions per usual that they always fling at you, is do you condemn October 7th? Do you think Hamas is a terrorist entity? Do you condemn Hamas? Like, all this bullshit. You should be able to now, at this point in time, stand 10 toes down, respond very clearly on your stance on all of that without having to beat around the bush or say, oh, no, yeah, I condemn October 7th. I condemn Hamas and resistance, but I still am all pro-Palestinian. No. We need a candidate that says it like it is from here on out. If you can do that, you'll watch how many people you get and garner as a following. Once you realize that, and once you actually see the fruits of that labor, all the other politicians will stand 10 toes down. Do you think there's a reason why people are scared of AIPAC now? People are distancing themselves from AIPAC because of all the fucking work we've been doing to showcase what they are. Like, that is why. And now politicians who are scared in the past to talk about AIPAC in the way we are now are openly saying, I take zero AIPAC dollars and take pride in it. Right? So that's where we need to be with all the other talking points, because that's when you shut down all the Western media garbage that they fling at you, because you need people that can stand 10 toes down in positions of power to say it like it is. And that's why I want to call you out if you don't do that.
Mea, final thoughts before we depart.
Just on like these Zionist campaigns too. Everybody's talking about the politicians. here in San Diego, I wanted to emphasize that our local Code Pink chapter is actually being sued by Zionists. That First Liberty, I don't know if you guys remember, I think her name was Carrie something, but she got kicked out of that organization because she was saying, as a Catholic, I don't believe that Israel has the right to exist. And she was like, no, only Trump can fire me. And so they're going through this litigation process because they started protesting these church Zionist events that were going on. But these churches were holding former members of the Knesset. And then they were also, am I frozen? I good? Okay. Yeah, so they were hosting former members of the Knesset, these people who were talking about, oh, the dangers of Palestinianism, but then in the court documents they were saying, oh, this was a religious event. It's not a religious event if you're talking about the dangers of somebody's identity, you know? And then if we look historically, these are the things that have happened to us. They talked about the dangers of giving Native Americans their freedom and self-determination because they said, oh, they're savages, they're going to be violent. It was the same thing that they used against the African American communities to say their arguments for not giving them freedom. They said, oh, if we free the slaves, they're going to be violent. It's all the same rhetoric, and now we're using it against Palestinians, and they're trying to say that they have a religious reason to do that. But you know, again, we've seen this in our history as well, because they use the Bible to say, oh, there's slavery in the Bible, God wants me to have slaves. I mean, is that how far we're going to go with this religious stuff? And so now the Trump administration is also saying that, you know, separation between church and state is not in our Constitution. So now they're trying to backtrack all of that stuff, and they're trying to blend these political activities within the churches. Here in San Diego, there's also a organization that had a FARA filing. It's called Show Faith by Works. So it's a registered foreign agent here in San Diego, and their goal is to target churches, geofencing, going through getting all of people's informations, and they are going to target with ads. They are going to be outside of churches. They are going to go to the conventions. So all of this, and they're going to have pastors on the payroll. So because Code Pink was protesting these things, now they're getting sued. So I just kind of wanted to emphasize that. If anybody is in any of these religious institutions, please talk to your church about this. Don't let them get inside of your church. The other thing is, if you are a U.S. veteran, please talk to your veteran buddies about the NDAA and to separate the idea of the Israeli military having a merger with the U.S. military. So those are two extremely important things that, yes, I do believe that the Zionists are blowing, you know, their whole campaign like through the roof, but they're throwing a ton of money at it. And there's a lot of people who are not paying attention. And if that's the first thing that they see and hear is, oh, you know, through my church, through my pastor, through trusted people, you know, we need to get this messaging out to them in places that we normally don't have visibility.